Hi, everybody. So one thing that comes up all the time, and it's kind of one of my least favorite topics of turnkeys, but it's also one of the biggest topics, is the turnkey property inspection. So you put a turnkey rental property under contract, you are in your due diligence period, and one of the biggest things on that during that due diligence period is getting a property inspection done by a third-party property inspector. You want to verify that the property is actually in turnkey condition and is as advertised. This is kind of officially or unofficially checking the quality of the rehab. Is there any punch list items left to go? Did the provider kind of shaft you on anything? The property inspection, there's a lot of important due diligence items, but the property inspection really ranks up there as by far one of the most important. So if you have not seen any of my videos on the property inspection, one of the most important things, there is a process for a turnkey property inspection for you as the buyer. Like, what is your process? You get this inspection report, you see different items, what do you do? So check out my video called How to Handle a Turnkey Property Inspection. I'm going to link to it in the comments. So make sure you've checked that out and make sure you follow that process, because if you start veering away from that process, you're potentially going to talk yourself out of a potentially really good investment property. You might be more frustrated. You might think you're getting scammed. Just follow the process. It's standard across the board. It's how everyone really does it. And yeah, so definitely check out that video. So here's what I want to help you with today is people all the time send me their property inspection reports once they get them and say, hey, can you take a look? What do you think? Or in some cases, they're like, OMG, ugh, like this is terrible. I have to get out of this property. What do you think? Ack. They think they're getting scammed. They're usually not. So they send me their reports. So what I want to do for you guys today is pull one of those reports. So we're going to do this real time. This is a report that I was given a few months ago. I reviewed it at the time. Quite frankly, I have not looked back at it, so I don't even remember what's in it. But I'm going to let you guys follow me through the process that I go through when I'm reviewing these reports, and I give my feedback, and as if I were the buyer of this property. So again, it's very important that you know the turnkey process, because I'll be kind of speaking to that indirectly through this. So this is also going to challenge my technology skills here, but I'm going to share my screen. We're going to first, so here's a couple things actually before we get started. Number one, I am not claiming 100% perfection. If you follow my advice, my instructions, whatever, on one of your property inspection reports and something gets missed and, all hell breaks loose and you end up getting cost a lot of money, not on me, man. Like that is my caveat. I am not a legal professional, a tax professional. I am not your legal real estate representative. And I am not claiming that I know perfection on these things. I'm actually not even handy, so half the time in a report, I don't even know what it's talking about. Like, don't even ask me what knob and tube wiring is, because I have no idea. So the point of sharing this with you is just so you can follow along with my mindset and the things that I look for and the way that I navigate an inspection report. And hopefully, in some way, it can help you with your own inspection reports. But again, I am not legally, you can't hold me liable for anything. Please don't. It's mean. Just kidding. But what else was I going to say? There was something else, but we're just going to go with that for now. Okay, so back to my technology skills. I'm going to share the screen here, and I'm going to start. That's what I was going to say. The way that I do this is I always start by just reading through the inspection. I'm not coming up with my items to request a repair. I'm not coming up with anything. I'm not coming to conclusions. I'm just reading through everything. And I'm going to start, I'm going to look for kind of the big things. So that's what I'm going to do right now. We're not making a list of anything. We're just going to go through the report. And I'm going to point out things that either stand out to me or that leave me with questions or, random comments and thoughts. That's what I was going to tell you. Okay, so this particular inspection report was for a property in Harrisburg. I redacted the buyer name and the address for the property just for privacy. I'm not trying to, share everybody's whatever. I don't know who Gary Walters or Mike Shealy home inspections are. I can't say if they're good or bad. I don't even know them. But this home inspection report was done for a buyer. Every inspection report you get is probably going to be in a different format, some more hideous than others. This one's actually pretty well organized. So one thing you're going to see here is with each thing, there's these 5 boxes. I think I can even annotate on here, can't I? Yeah. Like these 5 boxes, and you'll see the A, NP, NI, MD. So in this case, I have to unannotate. Oh man, how do you get rid of that? I told you. This is not my, technology is not my strong suit. Okay, back on track. So I'm going to scroll back up here. Here's the definitions. So A means acceptable. So anything A, we're looking pretty good. NP, not present. So like, I don't know, if for some reason someone doesn't have central AC, then it's not present, it didn't exist. Not inspected. I saw an inspection recently. It was sleeting that day, so the inspector did not get up on the roof for obvious safety reasons, so that would have been labeled not inspected. Marginal and defective. So these are the things that we're looking for. So I can tell you when I start on a inspection report, the number one thing I'm thinking about when we're thinking about turnkeys specifically is the whole idea with a turnkey is that you shouldn't, keyword shouldn't, no guarantees, you should not have any major repairs in the next, hopefully 10 years, for example. You shouldn't be replacing a roof. You shouldn't be replacing a hot water heater. You shouldn't be replacing the HVAC system. You shouldn't have to do any major things. That's the whole premise behind a turnkey, is that it's either freshly rehabbed or everything is really at a young stage as far as like the hot water heater. Maybe it's maybe not brand new, but it's a couple of years. What is the life expectancy of the big ticket items? Because that's what matters to you. So I'm really keeping an eye out for those big ticket items first. And then as far as all the small things, you know, we'll put those down on the sheet. Those are, you know, maybe they wouldn't cost you much, but ultimately you are supposed to be getting a turnkey property. So there's no reason for them not to fix it either. So just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking for. Okay. So this one starts with, looks like we are looking at the basement. This is under general information continued. Did I miss something? No. Okay, so the lots and the grounds. So the walks, concrete, acceptable. Just kind of a note here, even though this does say acceptable, is, let's see, can you guys even see my mouse? I don't know. A lot of inspections, more than not, come back with talking about like cracks in the sidewalk or cracks in the driveway. That is in just about every inspection I've ever seen. Always remember that the home inspector has to cover his ass, CYA. He's going to note every single thing that could potentially be a liability later, because if he leaves that crack out of the inspection and someone walking by trips over it and breaks their face or whatever, he don't want to be liable. So usually, I'm just going to tell you now, and I'm going to do other inspection reports. And so this one actually has it labeled acceptable, and it looks fine, but a lot of them don't have it labeled acceptable. But I've never really seen a case where I've thought that it was warranted to ask the turnkey provider to fix it. Sidewalks just crack. You know, it'd have to be a pretty massive issue for me to request that in particular. So that is one of the first things I always see on an inspection report is cracks on the sidewalk. So, but he has deemed these acceptable. Okay, so we can move on pretty quick. So steps and stoops, concrete, rear steps have settled, causing top riser to be higher than normal, repair for safety. So he's labeled this deficient. So I'm kind of looking at these pictures here, and I don't know if I necessarily see a major safety issue. It's a little bit hard to tell from the pictures because the pictures aren't very big, but we will come back to this. It doesn't jump out at me as a major crisis right off the bat, but because it is labeled deficient and possible safety, we'll kind of circle back to this. So some of this stuff, when we circle back, you'll see how I circle back to that when we start making our list. So the porch concrete is labeled, was this marginal? Again, we're just kind of talking about cracks. Porch is settled at front. To me, that doesn't really, you know, if the porch was falling down or someone could potentially fall over it or something, that might be one thing. But like these little cracks here don't really jump out at me much. Patio concrete. Oh, well, I should have saved my whole speech about cracks in the sidewalks for this one. Common cracks noted, keep them sealed. You know, if you would want to ask the turnkey provider to just make sure those cracks are sealed, that's fine. But, you know, one thing I kind of want to, you know, it's a I scratch your back, you scratch mine, because I'm probably going to ask for a lot of bigger things. Sealing up sidewalk cracks to me is not a big deal. Plus, if I had to do that in the future, if it's my property and I own it, I can't imagine that that's very expensive. So that, again, doesn't rank up totally high on the ladder for me. Balcony, stained wood, floor spongy, deteriorated wood, contractor evaluate and repair. This is another thing you're going to see is very often they are going to suggest that a professional related, you know, if it's a roofer or a contractor or an electrician or whatever, that they, you know, come out to evaluate. Whether that's necessary or not, who knows? We'll kind of go through that when we write out our list. But in this case, floor spongy with deteriorated wood, and it sounds like it's stained, I would ask for that to be replaced. It's not a, you know, I don't want to call it a CapEx item because it's not a major issue. But at deteriorated wood, first of all, just aesthetics, turnkeys should look freshly rehabbed. So from an aesthetic perspective, minimal, like that's, you know, that should be dealt with. You shouldn't have stained wood. But that to me sounds like a safety issue, because if it is deteriorated, at what point does one of those boards give out and somebody gets hurt? So I would definitely be, we'll be thinking about this one. Again, we're just going through the report right now. We're not coming up with what we want to do about everything. We're just kind of noting, just to kind of get a lay of the land, if you will. So the balcony, the grading is acceptable, adequate slope and depth for drainage, acceptable. Basement stairwell, wood timbers, do not use, treads missing, repair for safety and egress. That 100% to me looks to be a problem. It looks like if someone walks down those stairs, they're going to end up under the stairs. So we will absolutely be requesting that that be fixed. And so once we get to the request, you'll see that, you know, some of the things might be small ass, like it's not, in my mind, critical. This one would be a critical one because that's, well, that's a, first of all, obvious, but also a major problem that the stairs are missing. Fences, wood and wrought iron apparently are acceptable and they look good in the pictures. That's awesome. Okay, exterior of the house, brick, fiberglass, vinyl siding, all acceptable. That's actually pretty impressive because quite often there's either holes in the siding or a piece of siding missing or something. So that's actually kind of cool. And all the pictures look pretty legit. Trim is acceptable. So the fascia, the metal, contractor repair missing fascia on rear of home. That'll be an easy ask. We'll include that in the list for sure. All of these are acceptable. Entry doors, patio door, lighting, gas meter, all that looks great. You can see all the acceptables there. Porch roof, unable to inspect 20% wet, slippery conditions. This was actually not the property I was referring to when I said it was sleeting. So you always want to look at the things that they couldn't inspect. So this was actually a big learning for me. Is one of my properties that I bought way back when, it was July or August in Georgia, so it was super hot, and I didn't figure out till years later, I wasn't paying attention, that the inspector did not test the heating unit because it was July or August. He actually said because it's 95 degrees outside. Well, my heating unit actually ended up being bad and I had to replace it for $3,500. Honestly, that falls back on me because I didn't ensure that that unit was in the condition it needed to be in. Lesson learned, $3,500 lesson learned actually. So always keep an eye out for the things that they say they're unable to inspect, because you want to make sure, see how critical they are. Because if it's a critical item, you want to make sure you somehow find out the condition of it. Okay, so material, rubber, roof is holding water at edges. Recommend roofer evaluate and repair. So like I said about asking them to call in professionals, before you call in professional roofers or any of that kind of stuff, chances are the turnkey provider can address it themselves. So, you know, we'll be noting this one, like you don't want to hold water anywhere. That's not good for any property. And chances are the turnkey provider can remedy that themselves, but we'll be asking for some kind of remedy for that. And if they deem it necessary to call a roofer, cool, but make sure they pay for it. Okay, so the shed, method of inspection, ladder, ground level, unable to inspect 40%, height of roof, slope of roof, recommend roofer evaluate shingles. So one thing about this, so we were talking about the porch roof, that was the water. Oh, I see. I misread this. So the porch roof was a shed type roof. I thought we were talking about the roof of a shed. So the main roof. Now, 100%, the roof is one of the most important items on a turnkey inspection or for a turnkey property. So here's how this goes. Hopefully let's see, does he have this anywhere? He does not. Hopefully the inspector can give an idea of the age of the roof, because you don't want a roof to go out in the next 10 years, preferably in the next 20 years, but you certainly don't want one that's going to go out in the next 10 years. So one of the ways people get a little twisted up is they'll ask, what's the age of the roof? Okay, well, that gives us a start of gauging how, if what to do about it. But a more important question is how much life is left in the roof, because different kinds of roofs, and this gets above my pay grade quickly, but different kinds of roofs are going to have different lifespans. Some roofs may last 20 years, some may be scheduled to last 50 years. So if one is 20 years old, but it's a 50-year roof, you don't really have to worry about much because that's 30 years down the road. So you really, really want to confirm the condition of the roof, because it is one of the most expensive repairs. So preferably, if you can get the age of the roof, that's great. But more importantly, you want to know what's the life expectancy of that roof. So as we're looking at this one, and not every inspector is going to tell you an age or life expectancy or whatever. So we're really kind of reading details. And this is pertinent to every inspection report I've ever looked at, is reading between the lines. Give me the details on the roof so I can kind of make my own determination. Okay, so he said acceptable for height of the roof, slope of the roof, recommend roofer evaluate shingles. As of right now, he doesn't go into major details about why. Let's see, so continued inspection. So material, asphalt shingle. I think we're about to learn something about what he was talking about. Shingles, not ceiling. Roof shows signs of deterioration. Evidence of prior repairs. Recommend roofer give estimate to replace shingles. So you'll see this when we start typing out the report, but here's what I do immediately is I write down, I'm going to have a question for the turnkey provider. I need them to tell me the age of the roof and the life expectancy of the roof, because oftentimes the inspector will suggest replace the shingles or seal the something or another or fix the hole or whatever it is. Before we do that, before we waste time and energy doing that, how old is this roof? Because I don't, if there's evidence of prior repairs, signs of deterioration, we don't want to be putting lipstick on a pig here. So we first need to find out if we need to be thinking that we need a new roof. And then if the roof has a good life expectancy left, then we can request that, the shingles be replaced, whatever needs to be fixed. So again, the roof is a big conversation here. So we're going to come back to that and we'll ask the seller appropriately. Type, gable, rear porch roof. This place has a lot of roofs. Rolled roof material. Here's pictures of it. He's deemed it acceptable. Okay, cool. Flashing, electrical mast. Those all look good. These actually look pretty good compared to a lot of turnkeys. Gutters need cleaning. Easy ask. We'll ask them to clean the gutters for sure. Downspouts. Reattach the downspout at the right front. Super easy repair. We'll include that in the list. Chimney. I've often seen a lot of chimneys that are not acceptable, and this one seems to be acceptable. Looks good in the picture. Cool. It does look like, though, it's missing, let's see, when using gas furnace or hot or water heater that vents on chimney, there should be a metal liner installed. Recommend chimney company evaluate and repair. Recommend them clean and inspect the flue due to unknown last servicing. So we can be thinking about asking the provider, hey, do you know when this thing was last serviced? Are you guys able to clean that up, do a cleaning for it, or confirm the condition of it, and just get their opinion on that. Chimney flashing, tar covered is acceptable. Moving on to electrical. All the basics look to be acceptable. That's awesome. Good thing, because I don't know electrical, so I can't really speak to it. We have a deficiency here. Square D. Recommend electrician evaluate the wiring and repair double neutrals under one screw. Again, we're not going to demand that they call an electrician. They might be able to do this themselves, but we can ask this question of, hey, there's concern about double neutrals under one screw. Can you confirm or repair or whatever? Okay, breaker size, breakers. Is this panel bonded? Cool, all looks good. Moving on to the structure. Well, that's quick. Structure of the house. wood frame, all of these things are acceptable until we get to the joists and trusses. Mold and mildew present on joists and subfloor and in the basement. Recommend mold remediation. I can't even speak. Company evaluate and treat. Some joists not supported properly. Contractor evaluate and repair at blocked off window. Powder post beetle exit holes on same joist. Recommend pest control. So the things that stand out to me, first of all, any mold has to be taken care of. We're not going to buy a house with mold. So that'll be one request, is confirm mold has been treated. We are going to also treat for the pests. I don't know what form, you know, like rats and stuff get screened off, roaches get sprayed for. I don't know what a powder post beetle gets, but you'd want to make sure that those are not diving into your wood. And then, you know, confirm properly supported joists. I don't know, at blocked off window, I don't know. Oh, at the window. Okay, so we would just ask for confirmation that all of those things have been taken care of. And all in general, the pictures, you know, you can definitely kind of see the mildew and stuff. We don't want to get all that cleaned up, but all in all, it doesn't look freakishly terrible. Same down here. Steel posts look good. Okay, so stairs and handrails. Wood stairs with wood handrails. Handrails are missing. Add handrail leading to third floor into the basement. Easy peasy, ask for a handrail. That's going to come up anywhere. Even if you deal with property managers later, they want to see those handrails because ultimately it is a liability if you don't have one. So you as the owner, you want handrails because you don't want someone falling down the stairs and then coming back holding you liable because there wasn't a handrail. Okay, so basement. Unable to inspect 25%. I don't know why. Storage shelves, appliances, insulation, all of these look acceptable. Pictures look like a standard unfinished basement. Looks like maybe a rebellious teenager's living down there or the random local homeless person, who knows. Floor is poured, cracked floor at rear door. It's a little bit hard to tell from the pictures, and he put it as marginal, not deficient. I might ask the turnkey provider, you know, it was hard for me to tell in the picture, like what crack, and is there any risk with that crack? I don't know what kind of crack that is. Different cracks have different consequences. Floor drains, they were not tested. We don't test floor drains. Cool, I guess, you know, worst case, if it's clogged, I wouldn't think that would be a huge expense if you had to deal with it later. Doors, electrical, smoke detector, all good. HVAC, vapor, were not inspected. Insulation, all of these things are checking out as acceptable, so that's good. There was not a sump pump. Moisture location, corners. Floor is damp in the corners. Recommend contractor evaluate. So anytime I hear of dampness or moisture, I want to find out the source of it. So is it coming in when it rains? Like, how damp are we talking about? Basically, you don't want moisture getting in the house. So maybe it's as simple as a downspout is not angled the right direction and it's pouring the water back towards the house. And it's just a matter of re-angling the downspout. But you want to ask the provider, we need confirmation on where this moisture is getting in because we need to ensure that that does not continue. All right, scrolling down, heating system, deficient, service recommended. Recommend HVAC contractor evaluate and clean unit due to unknown last servicing and age and rusting on visual water table tube. Okay, so this goes immediately back into roof. The things that my radar immediately come up on: roof, HVAC, hot water heater. I'll think of the other things as we get there. But immediately when we get to heating system and all that, I want the appliances, the heating unit, the air conditioner, whatever. I either want them brand new or pretty stinking new. Again, this goes back into the same conversation of it's not so much the age that matters, but how much life is left. Pretty immediately on this one, it might be that it's not that old. That's possible, but we want confirmation on this. Absolutely. This is, if I buy a turnkey rental property, and I went wrong on this many times in my turnkey experiences, but now I know, I want to know the ages of all appliances. Some inspectors are better than others where they will give you, hey, it looks to be, I wish I could blow this picture up. Let's see. Whoa. Can we see a date? Boiler, and I always look at these little labels too because a lot of them will have the date, and this one apparently does not. It might be Googleable. either the model number or the serial number. But I would absolutely be asking the turnkey provider for confirmation on the age of the unit and more information on this, because I'm not going to buy it with a bunky heating system. They're either going to have to replace it, or, you know, if it is bad, they've got to replace it, because that is a big factor of turnkeys. And of course I get the hiccups right in the middle of a video. So area served, fuel type, natural gas, heat exchanger, 6 burner. Okay, cool. That, you know, we're gonna get confirmation on all that stuff. So continued with the heating system, distribution, steam radiator. The distribution pipes in the basement are wrapped with asbestos. Oh, that's cool. Recommend removal or encapsulation of asbestos. 100%. That's a safety issue. I never actually, I guess I've seen it in a report because I've seen this report before, but that's bold. So I would absolutely, will plan to ask for that. Draft control, flue pipe, seal vent penetration into wall, chimney. That's easy. Just seal it up. No big deal. And, you know, I will say a lot of people are really hesitant to ask for repairs. Don't be. This property was advertised to you in a certain condition. Don't feel bad for asking, because worst case, they say no. But like, if it makes you feel better, some of these repairs are really easy. Like just sealing around that little cap, no biggie. So don't stress. All these are acceptable. Plumbing, service line, shut off, basement, both acceptable. What is not acceptable? Plumber repair corroded line above entrance to front basement door. So I would be asking for that line to get repaired in whatever way that needs to get repaired. I wouldn't know the first thing about that. Drain pipes, service caps. And honestly, at this point in the inspection, I'm pretty impressed. So what you'll see in the video of how to navigate the turnkey, how to handle or navigate the turnkey property inspection, is I've made a very big point of, you know, you're buying a property that's supposed to be in turnkey condition. It should be, in a perfect world, perfect. But guess what? You're going to get this inspection report and it is going to look intimidating as hell. But that's okay. Know that it's normal. Know that there's going to be, this is what's creating the punch list of things that needs to be done before you close. So, you know, to a lot of you who haven't seen a lot of these, you may be thinking, God, this is a total dumper property. I've seen so many of these things. This one's actually looking pretty good so far. So this, you know, let's see, we're about halfway through it and it's looking pretty good. So I'm actually gonna see if I can speed this up a little bit, because you guys are kind of getting the gist. We're just going through these. Gas service, due to something or another, gas line needs to be bonded. Cool, we'll ask for that. Hot water heater, this is what gets important for me. Functional at the time of inspection. If someone says functional at the time, cool, but I need more, because a 30-year-old hot water heater could be functional at the time. So let's see if that picture, if we get a year here. Enter. I don't see a year. It looks pretty decent as far as hot water heaters go, so that's a good start. But I will be asking for confirmation of the age of the water heater. Again, some inspectors, oh, hello. I should read further. It's a 2014. So it's only, let's see, approximate age, 2014, whole building. So it's 6 years old. You know, that's not terrible. It's not the best I've ever seen, but, you know, what a hot water heaters last 12 to 15 years. I don't think you'd have a lot of grounds to stand on to ask them to replace it. I think it's too recent for that. But, you know, it does suck a little bit that you may not get 10 years out of it. But, you know, again, it kind of comes down to picking your battles. So you're not totally up shit creek with this one. So 2014, but that's what we want to know is the age. And it looks good so far. Seems okay. Flue pipe, So we're going to kind of barrel through. Bathroom looks like it's in great shape. It looks like there's tenants living there. Closet, all acceptable. This is great. Usually there's loose pipes or something. All right, what's not acceptable? Clean the mold at the caulked areas. I actually had this on one of my rental properties, recent one local to me, and it was just a matter of replacing the caulk. I think we replaced it with silicone so it doesn't mold at all. So they either need to clean it, or it would be a super easy fix to reseal it with a better caulk that won't mold. Everything else is acceptable. Pictures look really cool. Kitchen. I love the neon purple burners. Looks good. Again, we're talking about appliances, so I want to know the age of the stove, the dishwasher, and the refrigerator. Now, a quick note on this is depending on what state you're buying in or what market, a lot of states or markets, it's standard for rental properties when the tenants move in to not have kitchen appliances. So before you go screaming off at someone, I had a situation earlier this year where all of the kitchen appliances seemed really old, and I was like, why is the turnkey provider offering those? Like, that's terrible. But it turns out that they normally don't even provide those because tenants provide their own. I don't come from anywhere that does that. Doesn't totally make sense to me. But so it was actually just kind of a bonus that there was any appliance in there. So you want to make sure, before you go screaming off at somebody, just understand what's standard. For instance, if the refrigerator goes out, are you the one responsible for replacing it? Because if you're not, and the expectation is that the tenant's going to bring a refrigerator, who cares how old it is? So make sure you have clarification on that before you make an ass out of yourself. I say that from personal experience, me being the ass. Okay, so dishwasher drain line connected behind the main trap, plumber repair, tenant states the dishwasher leaks, does not use, not inspected due to stated leaks. That's a very interesting statement because I would think leaks would warrant inspection. So I would absolutely want the source of the leaks identified and fixed before you close. Easy peasy. That's a very interesting statement. Kitchen, sink, all of these things, cabinets, ceiling, walls, everything's acceptable. It looks good in the pictures, floor tile. Pictures aren't going to tell you everything about the quality of a rehab, but you can see quite a bit. So far, like the bathroom and tiles and stuff, they look pretty decent to me. Let's see, where were we? There's a crack in the glass on one of the windows. I would have them fix that, however that may happen. Bedroom. Oh, and you know what other is cool thing about inspection reports is like these tenants are tidy. I've seen some inspection reports where it looks like the tenants are either hoarders or they're trashing the place or whatever. And you should be doing due diligence on the tenants who rent the property. This is a top secret version, not version, but item for your due diligence. Like looking at how these tenants are clean, the beds are made, things are organized, like, well, except for the closet, but like, hello, my closet is a disaster too. That really encourages me about the quality of the tenant. So something, extra things you can kind of look at. Everything's acceptable. HVAC source, except standing radiator. Tenant states it doesn't work. HVAC contractor. I don't know anything about those radiators. The thing I would be concerned about as an owner, I guess that radiator comes with the house. Is it a fire hazard? And if it does come with the house, it also should work for the tenant. So I'd be potentially asking for either a repair or a replacement of that radiator, if for no other reason, a fire hazard. Closet, ceiling, all good. Bedroom. See, these are pretty organized tenants. Windows, moisture present inside the layers of glass. I would ask about that. I don't know that there's anything you can really do about that. I don't know enough about windows, but it's worth a question. Who knows? Everything's acceptable. Let's see, where are we? We're in some bedroom. Another bedroom, everything's acceptable except for still that moisture present inside the layers of glass. It may be a totally normal thing that happens at every window in that city. I don't know. We'll ask the question. Living space. So now we're in the living room. I still love how clean these tenants are. Everything's acceptable except for closet door needs adjusted to open and close properly. I see that in so many inspection reports, no big deal. Ceiling light not working, easy fix. Living space, acceptable, everything. Those are just caveats by the inspector saying he can't check under the couch, for example. Yeah, those are just kind of caveats. So everything good except for wet stains under the bathroom area. I recommend plumber evaluate. So the biggest thing anytime I see water stains or wet stains or whatever is it an active leak? Where did the leak come from? Has it been mitigated? I would also ask them just to throw some paint on it once they've confirmed the leak is done. You know, just for aesthetics, you're going to turnkey property, like paint's easy. But 100% the most important thing is you want to make sure that any leak that caused that initially has been dealt with. Living space, I guess that's that spot. Ew, I don't know what happened. Painted drywall. So the floor squeaks when walked on, common defect. That is, you're going to see that with properties in different areas. Certain things are just kind of common. He wrote it as marginal, but he says common defect. And what are you going to do about a squeaking floor anyways? Totally normal. I'm not going to ask anything about that. Laundry room looks good. Not inspected. Washer, hose, dryer, electrical. Dryer vent, I don't know that I necessarily, but again, I just kind of want to know, like, if the washer and dryer go out, am I responsible for replacing them? If so, what's the current age of the one, or the age of the current ones in there? So marginal summary. So this is where he's just pointing out the things he had labeled marginal. So what I like about summaries, some people put this at the very beginning of an inspection report, some people put it at the end. You know, we just looked at a lot of details and a lot of things were perfectly fine. So it's kind of like, okay, wait, what did I see? I don't really remember. So I love when they do a summary because it's like, oh, hey, by the way, these are the things that we suggested need fixing. So this is the marginal summary versus the defective one. So the porch concrete, you know, I don't know that I'd be asking much for that. That's just kind of whatever. You know, same with the patio concrete. Is kind of what it is. Downspouts, reattach it. These are pretty easy. We were going to ask about that cracked floor, cracked glass, moisture present, bedroom, moisture present, adjust the door, put a light bulb in, floor squeaks. We're not going to worry about that one. Here's the defective one. I'll be asking a question about this top one, about the rear steps, top riser being higher than normal. I'm not sure. To me in the pictures, it doesn't look that freakishly dangerous. You know, and a fix seems like it would be kind of dramatic to be able to fix it. But the second one, for sure, I have concern about the deteriorator wood. You know, they need to fix that somehow. The tread's missing, 100% non-negotiable. You know, we went through these. Okay, so how about we jump over to, so this is, you know, I'm just kind of reviewing everything. There's those pictures, the basement, heating. Okay, so now we're going to kind of go back to the start of this. Actually, you know what? Let's go off the summary first. Let's see. Okay, marginal summary. Let's start with the defective summary first. Okay, so I'm going to unshare my screen for a second so I can reshare it. Okay, now I'm going to share my whole screen if I can find it. Okay, so now hopefully you can see the inspection report, and I have a Word document pulled up where we can start our list. So as you know from the video of how to navigate a turnkey inspection report. So the process in short is you get your report, go through it all, and then you make a list of repair requests. My vote on this is ask for, well, I always say ask for everything, but there are some things like cracks in the sidewalk I'm probably not going to ask for. Again, you don't want to be completely annoying, but you do want your fully rehabbed turnkey property. So what we're going to do now is we're going to concoct our list. I'm going to try and do this a little bit quick just so we don't take forever doing this. But again, you're literally in the exact process that I'm going through. So I've gone through the report, I've gotten a feel for the whole thing. As a whole, I feel really good about this property. There's not really any one major lingering item, and all the things that are mentioned seem pretty repairable, no big deal. So let's start with the defective. So I'm going to do some bullet points here, and you can literally do it. I would actually recommend doing it in bullet format, because if you include all sorts of word and content, or words and content and dramatics or whatever, like turnkey providers are straight shooters. Just give me the freaking list and I'll tell you what I agree to. So we're going to make it a list. So I don't want to ask them to fix this top stair, confirm rear steps on back of the house are not a safety issue, specifically top stair being higher than normal. Super easy, just confirm that it's not a problem, you know, and that doesn't come across slapping them in the face, just like, hey, it kind of shows a willingness on your part of like, hey, I'm not going to ask you to do completely asinine repairs, but like, just give me a little confirmation that we're fine. What I am going to request is replace can't type this, wood on balcony and what do you, repair stains, get rid of stains, repair stained sections, whatever that word means. I don't know. Absolutely replace missing treads on basement stairwell and confirm safety. And actually, I don't know what egress means, so I'm not going to put in egress because that may be totally out of context. Confirm safety, but definitely replace those missing treads, no doubt about it. And so what you're doing too is really you're just kind of, so you're going to attach your report with your request list. You don't want to just send them the report because you don't want to leave it up to them to interpret what the list should be. You want to make your list, but send them the report too, so they can actually go in and reference what you're talking about. Because if it's like replace deteriorated wood, what are they talking about? They can see the pictures, they can see what you're referencing. And if you wanted to be a real gem, or if you're super type A, you could put page, you know, whatever it is, 47, so they don't have to like skim through and look for everything themselves. Okay, I've been talking a while here. Okay, where are we? So we are going to repair missing, and some of this can be, I'm under the gun typing. You know, you're really just fascia, I don't know how to spell it, on rear of home. You're really just copying over what they say to do. So end of story, repair the missing fascia. Determine cause of water on the edges of the porch roof and repair. So figure out what's causing it and fix that. Okay, so roof. Confirm age of roof. Let's see, how do we want to do this? Because we don't want to ask for the repairs yet, because we want to get the confirmation on the age of the roof. I'm even going to put condition. Let them do that, and then based on what they say, you know, keep your inspection report handy. And if they say the roof is only 6 years old, then you can say, okay, well, in that case, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, fix the shingles, whatever. Like I said before, I don't want to put that in this request because I just want information first before I tell you what I need you to do, because the instructions then may be replace the roof or repair the shingles. So confirm the age of the roof. Gutters, clean the gutters, easy. This was the part about the chimney. Recommend chimney company clean, inspect flue, confirm condition of chimney flue, and possibly clean and install metal liner if appropriate. Again, I like to be nice. I don't want to sound too demanding, but again, putting my foot down when it needs to be put down. Flue cap, recess, repair double neutral wires under single screw, confirm condition of electrical wiring. It might not be the cleanest phrasing or most graceful, but get the job done. Okay, so this thing in the basement. So we want to remedy all mold in basement. And for something like this where there's a few different issues listed, go ahead and list those out individually on your list, because you don't want to group too much together because you don't want something to get lost. That's why I like short bullets, because literally there can be a check mark next to each of them. So remedy all mold. I don't think that's proper phrasing. Remedy the mold in the basement. Let's see. Let's see, how are we going to phrase this? Some joists not supported properly. How do we phrase that? Add support for joists in basement at blocked off window. Their phrasing's a little strange there. Let's see. Call pest control. Pest control in basement for powder post beetle. I have no idea what that is. I'm not even going to Google it. It sounds gross. Yeah, so just pest control. Okay, that's all we need. Structure, we got all those pictures. They'll have those. Install handrails at staircase leading to 3rd floor and to basement. Confirm. So now we're on number 12. Confirm, and that would actually be easy to reference. Like if you put in the deficiency list, like reference number 12. Confirm source of moisture in the basement corners and remedy. Heating. Confirm age of heating unit. So again, we just want to know that before we ask for anything. So let's just get the age of that first, or the life expectancy, whatever. Okay, steam radiator distribution pipes. Okay. Remove or encapsulate asbestos wrap on distribution pipes in the basement. The reason I'm having you stick with me to type all of these out is it's good learning, but also we're going to go back through it, and for mental, we're going to have in our heads what are the non-negotiable items, because some of these might be a little bit negotiable, but some of them in my mind are not. Asbestos is not negotiable, so we'll talk about that soon. And luckily this list isn't too long, or we'd be here for a very long time. But again, you're going through the exact process I go through. I literally have the report pulled up and a bullet point list next to me. So we're now going to seal the vent into wall, chimney, at main heating system, flue pipe. I'm sure that's not worded properly, but I also don't know what all that is either. They'll understand. Plumber, repair corroded line. Repair corroded line above entrance to front basement door. Okay, water lines, gas leak, gas line, bond, gas line. Easy. Again, we don't need extra commentary. Just put the task. Clean mold at caulked areas in the 2nd floor bathroom around tub, or replace caulk. One thing you never want present anywhere ever is mold in any form or fashion, even if it's just mildew, because you don't want tenants to glom onto the idea there's mold, because if they come after you for mold problems, you're going to have a headache. So never have anything that even so much as looks moldy, and it's dangerous anyways. Okay. Repair leaks in dishwasher and confirm full capability, I guess, capability of unit, something like that. I don't know. Repair or replace the standing radiator in 3rd floor rear bedroom. Okay, so this one was the leak. Confirm source of leak causing wet stains under bathroom area in the dining room. Repair if applicable. So if there is still a leak, repair it. Touch up paint over those wet stains. That should be easy enough. Okay, so that's the end of the whatchamacallit list, defective. So real quick, let's just barrel through the marginals, see if there's anything on there we want to touch on. Yeah, oops, I skipped some. Porches settled, again, I'm really not worried about those. Common cracks, he even says they're common, keep them sealed. Let's not worry about that. Reattach downspout, oops, at front right. Again, that is a super easy repair, so there's no reason not to ask for it. Cracked floor at rear door. Let's see. I mean, I guess we could just say confirm source of cracking at rear door in basement, just to make sure that nothing big is going on to cause it. Cracked glass, repair cracked glass in the 1st floor kitchen windows or replace window. I don't really know when replacing is better than repair. I don't know anything about glass, so either way, they need to fix it. Sometimes I'll even put like question, are there any major consequences to moisture inside the layers of glass on the double pane windows, or is that normal for this area? Maybe. So that way you're not really asking, you're just kind of asking, I mean, you're not asking for something to be done, you're just kind of asking, hey, can you give me more information on that? Is it something like, I would assume it's kind of standard. If it's not, then, you know, maybe ask, I guess, for new windows, but my guess is it's standard, but find out. Okay, so these are all pretty easy. Closet door needs to be adjusted. Adjust closet door in 2nd floor hall. I don't know what it means for hallway, so I'm just going to put both, just like the to open and close properly. I'll let him figure it out. Check bulb or repair ceiling light in 2nd floor hall, 3rd floor hallway. They might think you're an idiot for typing both of those, like, well, which one is it? I don't know. The inspection report didn't specify. Either way, there's a missing bulb or something. Dining room carpet, floor squeaks, we don't care about that one. Okay, so these were the only things. So again, I always just think back, okay, what were the big things? HVAC. It didn't sound like this property had central air. I don't remember seeing anything about air conditioning. Structure, basement, heating. Okay, boiler, so we're gonna get information on that. Heating system still, plumbing. So plumbing, I don't see anything about an AC. So my question would be, is there an AC unit in this property? Normally, I would think, even if it didn't have one, I would think the inspector would say there's no central air or no whatever. I would think that there would be central air, but I sure didn't see it. But I'd want confirmation because, again, that's another big thing that if it goes out and I have to pay for it, that's on me. So roof, we're asking about the roof. We're going to get age of the appliances, especially the heating unit. We're going to find out if there's an air conditioner, hot water heater. It sounds like, that's 6 years old. So keep that in the back of your head. What are the other big things? The electrical all seemed pretty decent. Sometimes when I'm going through and making this list, I have to refer back to the details of something because I may not remember what it was, but this inspection report actually breaks it all down really easy. So then what I would do is open up an email to the person, to your contact at the turnkey provider, and copy all of this and say, and you can attach it as an attachment if you want, or you can put it directly in the email. Might not hurt to make it an attachment, because here's what's going to happen. Send them all of this, and basically they're going to go through, most likely, and with each bullet point, type out approved, or they'll answer the question or whatever. If any of the things on here they don't want to do or don't feel like they should do, they're going to let you know that. So then you're giving them your list, and they're going to give you this list back with basically telling you everything they agreed to do. So keep that, because that is written confirmation that they're agreeing to do this. Some providers, which I recommend, make it an addendum to the sales contract saying, as a legal agreement, we are agreeing to fix these things. So that, let's say they agree to replace the heating unit, for example. Then you close on the property, and 3 months later the heating unit goes out, and it turns out they never replaced it. Well, now you have the written documentation to say, hey, you agreed you were going to replace that unit and you didn't do it. This is on you. So always be thinking of liability and, keeping it off of you if possible. So let me stop sharing my screen so I can talk to you guys again. Before I do, again, copy and paste all of this to them, attach your inspection report, and let's stop this sharing. Did I stop sharing? Okay. And then see what they say. So remember, I go through this in the how to handle a turnkey inspection. Right now, as you got the inspection report, is not the time to determine whether you should stay with this property or not, period. Whatever condition the property's in right now does not matter. It matters what condition it's in when you're closing. So you want to get confirmation that all these repairs were done, because if they do all of these repairs, boom, you have a turnkey rental property. And I've seen very few cases where they won't do all of it. I mean, most providers do everything you ask. There might be a couple little things that they'll kind of say, hey, here's why we don't want to do that. And they'll give you their reasoning and you can decide. So if you hand them your list and they say, like, well, the roof is 25 years old and we refuse to replace it, well, that's what you're making a judgment call off of. I don't, unless I'm getting the property at a severely discounted price, I'm probably not going to stick with that property if you're giving me an old roof or the heating unit or whatever. So make your decision then, not now. So send them your list. They'll tell you what they agree to, what they don't, whatever. So I've never gone through one of these vocally. It's always in my head. But again, this is the exact process I do. Open the report. Don't freak out. It might look messy. It might look terrible. You're like, oh my God, I'm getting scammed. Open the report, scroll through it, see if any of the big items jump out at you, get a feel for everything in general, and then nicely make your list. End of story. Keep it a very black and white thing. Keep your emotions out of it. Keep your what ifs and your worries and your anxiety out of it. It's a black and white situation. Just ask for the repairs. Everything, even if there's 173 repairs, not your problem. Ask for them. And then see what they say and how they respond. Get everything repaired, and then whether if it's sending another inspector out, that might be overkill, but if they at least send you video or picture evidence of each repair, that's cool, easy. And again, you have it in writing saying they would do it. So I really hope this helps you understand, like, what things do I look for in an inspection report, what things should you be looking for, and going through the process real time. So I will plan to do this with more inspection reports because every inspection report looks very different. This one actually didn't have any major, in it. So it was kind of a easy, gentle starter. But I'll see if I can find a little bit rowdier of a one and do that then also. So again, I hope this helped you guys. Again, I am not a home inspector myself. I am not a rehabber. I do not hold myself liable for anything you may have picked up from this video and apply it to your own inspection reports. So reach out anytime if you have questions, if I can be of help, and see you next time.